I'm Chef Patrick, joined today with co-host Lisa as always, and we also have Shankini and company with us as well, so you might recognize that name. She probably comments on every video, so.
She's one of our biggest fans of all time.
Yeah, so anyway, welcome guys.
And longtime supporter, even before we had a restaurant.
So yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
And with that, we had this kind of meal is going to be awesome with champagne. So fried chicken with a little smashed potatoes. We're doing some collard greens and a little like buttermilk sauce to go with it. So super excited about this one. But anyway, we'll get started up here. Potatoes are going to take the longest, so we'll just go ahead and throw those on really fast. I'm going to quarter these because they're, these are pretty big. So if you got the smaller potatoes, you can do them whole.
Do you have a type of potato you recommend?
If you can get them, I couldn't get them locally, but I love the Redskins just because it's the classic like mashed potato, but. These are just Yukons, really similar in texture, really. So, but, cool.
When do we get our local potatoes this summer? Is that
I know
later in
that
the season?
most people planted them like this past week or so.
So it's still a while away.
So I mean, we're looking at a month or so, I would think. These are these are local. They're just from last season. They stored them, so.
Yeah, it's just a different flavor. Like when you're getting them fresh from the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Like, I know it sounds weird that potatoes have a flavor, but there is a noticeable difference. Especially when you get used to eating them all summer long from the farmer's market, and then you have to go back to the grocery store. It is not the same.
I put maybe a tablespoon of salt in this water with potatoes. It's not as big of a deal. We're going to taste them and season them after, so. Yeah.
You're looking super tan over there.
Farm life. It's the farm life, man.
How is farm work?
A lot.
Really hard, not really stressful.
Nice.
So I guess it's just different, but great. All right, cool. Let's see, really quick, we're gonna get the chicken soaking in the buttermilk. I just kind of want it to soak for a little bit. I don't really know if it's gonna make that big of a difference, but.
Couldn't hurt.
No.
No, it does not hurt.
We'll get a little bit of tenderness out of it, and I'm sure that buttermilk will help the proteins break down a little bit.
Little flavor, little all that fun stuff. So.
I like that you're not wasting your time with chicken breasts.
Oh yeah, no, it's always the dark meat in this house.
Yeah, chicken breasts. I mean, if you're gonna use them, you have to brine them. And, it's with these, it's almost like overcooking them is almost better.
Yeah,
So-
the dark
Oh,
meat's
nice.
very forgiving. So if you cook the hell out of it, it's still gonna be tender and delicious.
Yeah.
White meat, it's done. If you go too far, it's like chewing on wood.
Yeah.
That is good to know for us cooking at home.
Yeah.
I decided to get boneless, skinless. I mean, if you got bone in with skin on, it's fine too. I don't know. It's easier to eat. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Well, you said you like the skinless better for doing fried, right?
Yeah, like the skin doesn't always, since it's not in touch with the oil, like on the breaded fried chicken, it just kind of steams in there, and it's not, it's not the same as just
It's not like taking a skin and putting it directly on the heat and getting it crunchy.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's not fun having that chewy bit in the middle of something that's supposed to be kind of crunchy and tender.
Yeah, so I don't.
So how much buttermilk are you putting in there?
Just enough to kind of like coat them. Let them sit in this. So.
Do you mind putting it on the camera where I can see it?
Oh, right up here?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we can do that. So I just, what? Probably like 5 ounces on this. And I have like I got about 1.5 pounds of chicken.
And that's enough to feed about 4 of us.
Yeah.
You said on average you do about 6 to 8 pounds or 6 to 8 ounces per person per week?
Yeah. Just kind of depends. This will be really heavy, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
we're
like
just.
I'm usually good after 4 to 6, so.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Just kind of soak it for now, and we'll leave this at room temp.
I think protein's super satiating. And you said you're boiling the potatoes now, right? You're waiting for the water. Did you
Yeah.
salt the water? I wasn't
I
paying
did. I put
attention.
about a tablespoon.
Okay.
Cool. We're gonna move on to the seasoned flour. There's this, like barbecue, like a lot of things from the South. There are 1,000,001 ways for people.
And everyone's the original one, right?
Yeah, everybody is original. Everybody's family does it differently. So I mean, it's
And I feel like that's kind of regional around the South too. Like South Carolina versus North Carolina versus Georgia versus Tennessee.
Yeah, but
like
then
every state's kind of got their vibe.
yeah, but then within that vibe, there's a million other vibes.
Yeah.
So, it's all good though. So I personally love simplicity. I just think you let everything else come through. Like there's no need to, in my opinion, to put the garlic and the onion and the paprika and I do black pepper and some salt, and that's how I make my barbecue sauce.
You don't do any spicy pepper at all?
No,
Okay.
I don't. People do though. So.
And you're just using regular all-purpose flour for this?
I am.
Would you ever use any like whole wheat flour or anything?
Honestly,
Never thought about it?
Oh.
no, I haven't.
But also, you're not using regular all-purpose flour.
No,
Oh,
this
no,
is still
this is still fresh milk from Moxie.
still good.
Yeah, once I started baking with fresh milk flour, there was no going back to the store.
I mean,
Sorry,
you probably
sorry, King Arthur. I'm just not doing it.
definitely probably could.
What, do a little whole wheat? Would
Probably.
you do all whole wheat or would
No,
you just,
I-
like a portion, yeah?
I don't know if I would do all whole wheat. A little bit of cornstarch in there if you have it helps soak up extra moisture too. How about stay crispier longer? But let's see.
Yeah, and the Moxie flour, a friend and I did a side-by-side taste test recently with the King Arthur flour, and the smell and taste of the raw flour is night and day different.
Yeah.
Yeah, not going back.
Well, no, a lot of like what happens with the treatment of the flour right before it goes on the shelf winds up making it shelf stable so that it doesn't spoil, but then it also strips it of all of its character and flavor. So it's just, fresh milk doesn't necessarily last as long. You got to be careful with it, like spoiling with the oils in it. But I mean, if you're going through it fast enough or you're buying small quantities, you probably have nothing to worry about. It'd be several months, if not 6 months or more, maybe even a year before you'd have to worry about it. So unless you just never bake, you should be good.
Well, if you guys keep us in the recipes, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Mine was milled at the end of April, and
Oh,
I have
perfect.
less than half a bag left.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it goes quick.
Cool. 4 cups of flour, and I'm gonna do a tablespoon of salt, roughly. Nothing. And we're gonna do black pepper, and fresh grind it in the spice grinder. We're doing 1.5 tablespoons. And then basically the key to this is going to be the baking powder.
Not powder, not soda.
Baking powder.
Why powder?
I
So
don't
the
know.
double acting.
I don't know the science exactly.
Okay.
It kind of helps it get that really classic texture.
Well, baking powder will, because it's a double acting thing. So first the acid of whatever you have in your recipe will activate some of the leavening, and then once you heat it, it gets another boost from the heat too.
Nice.
So where baking powder is basically just activated by,
So it'll get slightly activated
Acid.
by the buttermilk, and then again by the heat. So
yeah.
but it helps. Basically, like, it's kind of the secret to get that really nice, like, if you get it at a restaurant, you're like, I don't know how they do this, because I try to bread chicken every which way and it never is this way. It's the baking
And now we
powder.
know.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're doing a tablespoon of that. Whoa, it's falling out the side or something.
I don't know about
And
that.
in this application, is there a altitude sea level difference, or is it all the same?
Not for this.
Okay.
Just,
I can't
'Cause
speak
we don't-
to that. I only worry about it for baking, so.
yeah, I don't really have to, like, I've never had an issue. I don't worry about it, like, rising and falling in the fryer or anything.
Well, for
but-
this application too, it's such a quick cook, right? Like, it's not the same as baking a cake where it has to be in the oven for like 45 minutes. I think you gotta worry about it like rising and collapsing. This is like flash fry in a pan and it's done, so. The protein's set really quickly in the flour.
And the oil's hotter than boiling water, so
Yeah, exactly.
you don't have that
Nice.
difference.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it happens quickly, where baking just is a very slow process, so you need to time it just right where the protein's set as the leavener like starts to lose its potency.
That makes sense.
Then we're gonna separate off a cup of this seasoned flour,
Why are you doing that?
because this gets mixed with water, and it's like the wet. So it's like goes from the buttermilk to dry, then the wet, then the dry again, and
Okay.
then fry it. So
More secrets. I like it.
that's the full deal there.
But you don't use like an egg batter on this, right, for dredging?
No, I was going to, but we're not. We kind of changed what we were doing a little bit.
Surprise.
It's fine. They have an extra 1 egg sitting around.
Might have made somebody go buy a whole dozen thinking that they needed an egg.
Well, if you did that, I'm sorry.
Oh, but they can use it in the asparagus goat cheese tart
Yeah.
recipe on the blog, which
Yeah.
I'm gonna try next week.
I do my best to wrangle them in, guys. I'm sorry. There's no telling what the wild card's gonna do next.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. Anyway,
Just don't say there's no bacon in the recipe, because I had a friend who had to dash out to the store in the last hour to get the bacon.
oh, the bacon's definitely in there.
Perfect.
Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix our buttermilk sauce really quick, and then because we're still waiting for potatoes to even boil. So
Oh yeah, well, there's a little bit of foaminess. So we're still probably a good ways away on that though.
yeah, it's all good.
So what do you have here?
Dill. So
Is that on your recipe? On your shopping list?
yeah,
Okay.
should be dill, green onions, and then we had some parsley, so I'm gonna put some parsley in as well. But if you don't have that, it's fine. We are going to use probably about a quarter cup-ish. I don't know. Maybe close to a half cup. Lots of dill.
Again, this is all about like for 4 people roughly.
Oh, we're making it. Because you know what? Cold, refrigerated fried chicken left over is delicious.
Also, I might need seconds.
Yeah, that's either way.
Also, shout out to all of Shankini's friends that showed up tonight. We've got a big audience tonight,
Nice.
so.
How many do we have?
We are at 17 at the moment.
Yay!
And we broke our record today.
Shattered.
Yeah.
Awesome.
shattered.
Record shattered, man.
How cool.
Jenna said that she's always heard of starting potatoes in cold water. Is there really a difference in doing that versus boiling water?
Yeah, so with potatoes, essentially that causation is because of the structure of the vegetable itself. If you start potatoes in already boiling water, there's the potential for the exterior to get way too cooked before the inside is even done, and it could just turn into this in your water.
Like a big gloopy.
Like
Potato
potato soup.
Yeah.
There is that chance. The smaller your potatoes, the less you have to worry about that, but
Not that there's anything wrong with potato soup.
No, we all love potato soup, but if that's not what you're going for, it's a good way to avoid it.
So I've got some spring shallots here that we're just gonna finely chop up.
Were you just processing those? Like,
I just peeled off anything that was dried or kind of off the base here.
okay.
I mean, that's all.
Just make sure there's no crunchy bits on there.
Yeah, just even though they're super fresh, you can get that outer layer that's kind of dried up.
Yeah, or even after they sit in the fridge for a couple days, sometimes that'll start to happen. So you said those are spring shallots?
These are spring shallots. If you have spring
Similar to
onion,
like a spring onion, yeah.
you know,
What does the spring part mean? Is it just the shoots and not the actual shallot?
so they're not like fully formed.
So
They've
these, like, if left alone, will actually turn into like a full-on shallot.
Okay.
So this is like the baby version of it.
yeah, that.
So you get that really tender, like light, kind of green sort of flavor to it versus like the deeper,
More shallot-y.
yeah.
They're
Okay.
they're typically less intense,
Yeah, they're like less spicy. Same thing with garlic too.
but so we mince that up about the same amount as the dill, I'd say.
So for like this stuff though, the farmers typically like pick those to thin out the fields, right? Is that like why people use them?
Yeah, I mean that's where the basis is from. I mean, for me, like if I was running a place, I would just pick it all at this level and call it a day.
Yeah,
I
you would
wouldn't
never
really-
worry about curing and
I wouldn't worry
storing.
about the curing or any of it because this form to me is just so good that
But can you do it all year? I mean, can you really do it throughout the summer?
could
I
you
mean,
do
there's probably a reason
successions?
why they don't.
I don't know if you could do successions and
Or does this need like
I
kind
don't
of the
know.
cooler spring soils? To,
I don't
like,
know
function?
enough. I don't know enough yet. I'm
Okay.
trying to.
Just challenging your thoughts.
Yeah, it'd be cool to do successions and just have that young garlic as long as possible.
What
But
do you-
I don't know. Yeah,
What are you chopping?
this is now parsley. This was the optional.
Okay.
Same amount as dill and onion. Dill and onion you definitely want for that flavor. The parsley, we just happen to have this super fresh farm parsley, so I'm throwing it in.
What type of parsley is that?
This is an Italian parsley.
Is that your preference?
Yeah, the
Okay.
flat, any of the flat leaf. I just think it's easier to chop up for me personally than the really curly stuff.
Yeah, except you can chop anything, but that's good to know. For us with the lesser chopping skills.
Yeah. And the
That didn't just like destroy it in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
it just smells so good when it's
Okay.
so fresh.
That is the problem with cooking along is I think everyone gets so fascinated watching your chopping that we forget to chop and then now we're like 2 hours behind.
Yeah, my mom always like when I talk to her, she's always like, the knife work is probably my favorite part.
It's it's like watching art. It's great.
Let's see. This buttermilk back out. So buttermilk. We're just gonna do enough to kind of make it into a sauce, kind of.
So is that like a cup, roughly?
Out of what we had, around a cup. Do a little salt. So I'll rinse the flour off my whisk and you can kind of. There we go. And I mean, so it's a lot of herbs. Like it's super.
You tilt that towards me.
Yeah, I'll get a spoon out. So I love herbs. So like we're talking, like it's mostly herb with a little buttermilk in it to give it some more flavor. If you were, I don't know, like you could just do oil if you wanted, like olive oil. But this is so good with this, kind of with the southern.
Smell
Deal.
those herbs already.
Yeah.
Wow.
And essentially, if you wanted, this is how you would make homemade ranch as well. You would want to add some mayonnaise into this to give it a little more body. But this would essentially be ranch. So
So those same combination of 3 herbs would give you
parsley, green onion, and dill.
nice.
It's great.
You don't
So
do garlic at all?
what's that?
I thought there was garlic in ranch.
Good, yeah. For sure.
Are you-
Spring garlic in this would be so good.
That was a little sprinkle of salt.
Yeah, I seasoned it to taste, so. No, that's done. So we're just gonna put this kind of over the chicken and everything once we're done with it, but sauce made.
So it's literally just buttermilk and herbs.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like we're starting to see some movement in our pot over there.
Nice.
Slowly but surely.
Cool. Let's get into greens here. I can chop that up.
What are you chopping?
Just little extra herbs were on the cutting board. Cool. Greens. So right now, these are really, really young collards. They are a lot more tender than what's gonna be in the next few weeks.
Yeah. Definitely more tender than what you usually find in the grocery
Yeah.
store.
So
Like that middle stem is even like as fat as it normally is.
yeah, but we're still gonna.
Can you do that kind of center board a little more so people can
Yeah.
see how you just did that?
I can do that. So take your leaf from the backside here. Just kind of pinch down. And that's it. You want to take that out. You can leave them folded in half or all flat. I guess we can fold them all over together.
Why do you take the stem out?
It's just tough. Like this stem it will cook, but it will take longer than the greens. So I just like to remove them.
So you don't have to like incinerate the greens.
Yeah, I mean, so once the greens get, like I'll always stem them like this, but once the greens get a little tougher, you actually need to kind of braise them. But we're gonna quick cook these today because they're younger.
Teresa said she's more excited about the collards than the chicken.
Nice.
And she loves fried chicken, so happy to know there's other people loving the collards. I was very excited to see them at the market as well.
Yeah, it was so cool. Rough and Ready has these.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm not sure. I remember noticing them in the past
Yeah,
in
so
our markets.
there's only a handful of farmers out here that even grow
That's probably why.
them. It's like
Probably because people don't really eat
there's
them.
yeah. I mean, living out here, it's
If we were in the South, that'd be
It's
a
not
whole
as
different
common.
story.
It's like only a handful of people out here grow okra. And it might not even be a handful. It's like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And
Which makes me
then,
sad because it's so good.
you know, Dave at Rough and Ready, he's the only one I know that grows black-eyed peas out here that I'm
I don't think
familiar
I've seen
with.
those either. Yeah.
But they are I can't wait for those too.
So you're gonna teach us how to cook those?
Oh yeah, they're
Perfect.
any kind of shelling bean like that. It's you just don't see it a lot out here, but it's not unless you're in the South. You don't see people eating a lot of like Crowder peas or black-eyed peas or any of that.
I'd argue most people probably hadn't even heard of those before, so.
Yes. You said some words there. I'm like, I don't know what that was, but I'll wait till the Sunday where you teach us.
Yeah, it's they're great.
Yeah, collards are definitely a staple of the South.
Yeah, talking to some of my friends in the South, I didn't realize they don't get rhubarb as easily as we
No.
do. I was like, and that blew I just never thought it through of
Same.
climates and things. And
My parents live in North Carolina. My mom's been looking for rhubarb everywhere, and she's like, "There's just none here. There's none."
in Alabama, Cindy found it at Whole Foods today. So apparently that's
Yeah.
the one place, but not at the farmer's market, not
No.
anywhere else.
Yeah, it's not local. I mean, I think whatever they can get now is maybe coming from California or some or like from Amsterdam.
So
Amsterdam?
Yeah, don't buy the
yeah,
Amsterdam stuff.
they
It's
import
terrible.
from like the Netherlands.
Yes,
Oh,
don't
weird.
But
don't
it's not.
don't buy that one.
Does it taste like tulips?
Doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah, it
It's
just has to travel too far.
Yeah, it's not good. Just skip it.
All the leaves, we laid them up, right? I'm just gonna roll them over. This will make it easier to kind of hold on to cut them. So this is just for the method we're doing. So we're gonna cut them like 1/4 inch-ish. If we're gonna have to braise these, if they're tougher, you could just do like large, like 1-inch ribbons.
Oh, you said 1/4 inch ribbons?
Yeah, roughly.
Jenna said those are her favorite peas. I missed that one.
The Crowders,
Yeah, I think so.
they're really.
There's a little bit of a delay between what the audience is seeing and like
Oh,
real
yeah,
time,
it's like
so
5 minutes sometimes.
yeah.
That's okay. That's cool. All right. Cool. We've got greens. I'm just gonna throw these in a bowl for now. I don't want the bowls out either. Cool. Nice pile.
Nice. Looks great.
Cool.
Potatoes are boiling.
Yeah, it's great. Moving along. Let me get our bacon cut really fast. That's one thing I miss about my smoker is making my own bacon.
I miss your hams.
The ham.
The hams.
Too.
Oh, hams were so good.
So I'm gonna just slice up really quick a few strips here. Save the rest for breakfast.
Or whatever else you get excited about.
What's that?
Or whatever else you get excited about.
Yeah.
Between now and breakfast.
Yeah.
That'll go
Never
good
know.
with that egg.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the extra eggs.
Yeah, there you go. You guys are covered. Yeah, again, just like 1/4 inch kind of, it's nothing, however you want. We're just gonna render this down. That's what we cook the greens in pretty much. If we were braising these greens, like later in the season, we'd throw a ham hock in instead, but it's kind of,
Bacon's still good.
no, bacon's great. It just you got to match the cooking style with the ingredients total. So sweet. Well, I'm gonna probably get the fat in the pan that we're gonna be using. So I've got a Dutch oven here that we're gonna use to fry in because it's got nice tall sides and we have this
Keep
duck
the grease
fat.
from splattering everywhere.
What's that?
So keep the grease from splattering
We're
everywhere
gonna
at least
try
a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
That's a good trick to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, duck fat from our first live stream.
For those of you that have been cooking along the whole time.
Yeah.
How do you store that for reuse?
In the fridge.
Okay.
Yep. This.
Do you have
just
to
kept
filter it or
we just
anything?
kept
or-
it in this glass.
Okay.
But we did the chicken confit in this, so it's not like this is gonna trash the soil probably. So
So it's about 3 uses kind of thing?
for confit, we
Oh, because of the confit.
with confit we use over and over. Just kind of add to it as we go. But for this fried chicken with like getting all the flour and everything in it, we'll see how it looks when it's done, but I might not reuse it. So.
What are other fat options? If
Oh, really? Just you know, at the restaurant, we kept Colorado grown sunflower oil in it, just
Okay.
because it was like what we could get locally. Pork lard or avocado oil or
Anything that can really tolerate high heat.
coconut oil. Uh-oh. Making a mess.
Duck fat in the potatoes, or did that just go all over the?
It went on the stove. So.
it's future problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as it doesn't ignite.
I'm gonna add some oil to this just to make it enough to fry in.
And you're doing avocado for that?
Yeah.
So does that mean the duck fat's kind of done after this?
It might be. I'm gonna check it.
It's fine, it'll make more room in the fridge.
I'll look at it tomorrow.
We have like the smallest fridge on the planet, so I won't complain.
I just want enough to be able to like completely submerge the chicken. So a couple inches in the pan. We're gonna bring the oil up to like 370 because when we drop the chicken in, it's definitely gonna cool it down. But
Ideally, you want to cook it at like 350.
350, 360 is good.
What did you set up?
I have the rack. If you don't have a rack, just get a pan out. We're gonna bread the chicken really fast and just let it kind of sit.
On the rack?
Yeah,
Oh, that's not.
I'm just gonna get it done
Okay.
because we're gonna have to fry it in batches anyway. So. And I think, do you mind grabbing the gloves? I'm just gonna use gloves because we have them. Because we have them.
I was gonna say, is that the commercial kitchen bit in you, or is it better for some reason?
I just, it keeps you from really trashing your hands too much. I mean, it doesn't. We used to wear gloves for everything, so.
Yeah.
It's like lab
Used to
work.
it.
Yeah. But, so, let's get the water.
Ginger had asked if we could use beef tallow
Yeah, for
for
sure.
the chicken.
Yeah,
It'd be really good.
be great. Just gonna do about a cup of water in this.
And that's in the flour mixture with the spices in it?
With the black pepper.
The one that you set to the side?
Yep,
Okay.
the one I set to the side. 1 cup of the flour.
With about a cup of water?
About a cup. You want it to be. It might take more than a cup, honestly, but I'll show you the consistency you're looking for on camera, so you can. Might be more like a cup and a quarter. I don't know if you can see that, but like, you want it to be thick enough to coat, but not, I don't know how to explain this very well, but it's a little loose.
Yeah. But it's not like watery, but it's not gloopy either. It's almost like custard base.
Yeah. So, what you want to try and do is use one hand for your wet ingredients, one for your dry, if you can. It'll help turning your hand into breaded chicken. And I'm just shaking off the buttermilk. So, kind of using the wet hand to get them flipped. Then if you come in with the dry hand, it'll limit the
Amount that winds up on your hands.
damage.
Yeah.
Kind of shake these off. Go into the wet.
It's like your grease is starting to crackle over there.
There's a little water in it from the confit that we did. Then we'll go back. Just coat it the best you can.
So it's buttermilk, flour, flour wet mix, and then flour again.
Wow.
So you're doing
There's
the double
another
coat.
secret step.
Yeah, you're just trying to get this really good coat. So that way it's gonna be like your really good classic. This is how you get that texture that you feel like you can't quite achieve.
One weird trick.
This is it. So again, cool. So this is that's it.
Can you bring that tray over here so we can actually get it on camera?
I mean, I don't really have space. I can bring it over when we're done. Ready.
Like, I can see it perfectly fine.
Yes. I know, he loves to work off in the corner, like where nobody can see him. Drives me crazy. Trying to help people learn how to do stuff and you're hiding in the corner.
Well, this is it right here. This is the process. It gets you that Maybe somebody from the fried chicken conglomerate will come after me.
For what?
For showing off too many secrets.
Yeah, I was gonna say this.
The Colonel's going to be knocking on your door.
Yeah. Pretty sure he's not still alive, so we might be okay.
And you've definitely got some Southerners in your audience.
Yes,
so,
that's great.
Yeah.
This is the perfect meal for a Southern audience, so they'll appreciate it.
Especially if they got some champagne too.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and a little bit when we get to that part.
It's been nice with your baking recipes on the blog that they're written for altitude. Like my friends who live here are like, finally someone cares about us. And the sea level people can make alterations.
Well, I feel like most of the time, like, they don't even, sea level recipes don't even take into consideration
No.
anything about, you know, being at altitude. And it just sets people up for failure that don't know any better. So baking up here is a whole different beast. It took a long time for me to get used to it, but
Well, thank you for sharing, because
Yeah.
I did the cardamom blueberry muffins and then the rhubarb crumb cake, and that texture, I have never baked and achieved that texture, and I think it's just, I was trying to figure out how to convert and obviously didn't do it correctly, and I was like, oh, this is the texture I wanted. So it's been fun.
yeah, I've seen like all kinds of crazy things with altitude baking where it's like just the sugar, just the flour, just all this stuff. I'm like, just cut the leavener in half and you'll be fine. That's all you gotta do. Whatever the sea level thing says, do half the amount of baking soda or baking powder and you'll be totally fine.
That's good to know. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've messed with flour, I've messed with sugar, I've messed with
Yeah, I don't
the
know
butter.
why.
I've
don't
been
know why
told
everybody
all
gets
kinds
into
of
all that.
things.
Yeah, the biggest thing is just like the air pressure is different here. So since we have lower air pressure at higher altitude, there's less resistance to those things like rising. So whenever you go to bake something, basically what you're trying to do is get it to rise and then the protein set while it's at that optimal rise mode.
So it doesn't collapse.
Yes.
Okay.
So the collapse happens when you have too much leavener and it stops working before the protein's set. So if that kind of makes sense in your head a
Yeah,
little
because
bit
it's
about how
easier
that
to
works.
rise at altitude. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a less pressure against it, so it's a faster rise, which doesn't allow the proteins to set in time, and then you wind up with a
Makes
pancake
sense.
instead of a nice fluffy
Yeah,
cake.
many a time.
Yeah, and same thing with like the spreading of cookies. The proteins don't set in time, and it's just
So
like
that's why they're flat and
total chaos. Yeah.
lumpy and flat.
hmm
Yeah, and while I'm doing this, I just kind of turn my fat down. I don't want it to like get way too hot while I can't check it because I'm breading chicken. So, but you can see this like feathery flour texture you're getting on there. That's what you want. It's great. So.
This is your friend Sam.
Yes, that
Okay.
is Sam.
Sam, thanks for the shout out on the muffins.
They made
They're
them for
really
breakfast
good.
today.
Right.
And for new space race, it says so marinade, dry, wet, dry, fry. Yes. Well, dry.
Dry,
go,
wet.
Go from the marinade to dry to
Yeah.
wet to dry, and then you're frying basically straight from that, right?
Yep.
Are you letting them sit out purposely on the rack for right now, or just because you're working in batches?
I'm just trying to get everything set up
Okay.
because
I didn't
Nope.
know if you're like letting it cure a little bit or something first.
I mean, it doesn't hurt it, but I'm just trying to get this set up so that we can seamlessly finish the meal without.
New space race is our friend Christian in Houston,
Oh,
who
awesome.
had enjoyed faro in the past.
Ah,
Cool.
Well, now you can kind of enjoy it at home.
Yeah.
It just requires a little more effort, but.
Those gloves were looking really delicious too.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
throw those on in.
Dip those in the oil, will be good.
Make some fried gloves. All right.
Yeah, I love the secret formula for how to do this.
I know nothing's happening in here yet, but it does smell good.
Duck fat.
Yeah, I think it's
With all
duck
the
fat.
masala spice.
Yeah. I'm like, it
Oh,
smells like spices. What
nice.
is that?
All right. So we're gonna check potatoes, see where we're at.
It's my phone starting to get hot.
Maybe. Potatoes are done.
I think that's why it starts getting choppy.
Oh, okay.
How do you know the potatoes are done?
I stabbed them with a fork.
And it stabbed you back?
And
Thank you for prodding him.
the term is called fork tinder. So if you stab,
You don't even stab. You
If
just
you-
gently push
well,
it.
you stab
shouldn't-
it,
You
and
shouldn't
if
stab
it-
it hard.
and if it falls off,
Okay,
it's done.
that's good to know.
If the fork goes in and the veggie doesn't fall off by itself,
Not
then
done.
it needs to wait a little bit. So it's the same with meat. If you're like slow cooking something, it's the easiest way to know if your braise is done. If you stab it with like your fork and you can pick up the meat,
Okay,
it needs way longer. So
that is good to know.
yeah, cool.
You temping your oil?
Yep, seeing where we're at. We're at 330.
Say, why don't you take my phone down for a couple minutes since you're not cooking over the stove and we don't need it yet, so it doesn't have to cook for no reason.
Well, I had turned off the heat.
Okay. Well, I'm just
So-
saying there's still steam rising up to it.
Should be okay.
Just I don't want anybody to have to miss.
The actual
The actual
chicken
cooking
going
part.
in the, yeah.
It's
We're
just been
okay.
over there roasting for no reason.
We're okay. It's good.
You trying to keep some of your secrets from us? Because that's not okay.
No, you've got this whole big audience today, man. You gotta bring the A
No.
game. Can't have you shorten out the.
No, we're on
phone.
it. We got the goods going.
Don't worry,
So-
guys. I'll text you the extra secrets later.
Yeah.
Maybe stick the phone in the freezer for a minute.
No, it should start to cool down. Anyway. All right. Potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and strain these really fast, and then we'll those out of the way. Cool. So we've got butter. I'm gonna put a half stick in here.
It's like more than a half a stick.
Half stick. It's a half.
By chef standards,
It's a half.
like 3/4.
No, it was a half. That was already a quarter use.
Okay.
It's all good.
It's a little more than a half a stick. Got it.
And I left the skin on these. And we're just gonna.
So do you not heat your cream or milk before you put it in there?
I mean, sometimes. This was softened butter. It's kind of out, sitting out for the afternoon.
Okay.
So I threw it in. If you're using butter or milk or whatever right from the fridge, you should lightly warm it at least.
Yeah, you don't want to seize the starches.
Okay.
But
I normally warm mine in a pot beforehand, so
I have never done that. That is good to know.
I do the same.
I put them back in the hot pot. I'm just gonna let them chill or stay warm in there.
And is it just butter that you put in?
So far, yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll taste them for salt. We'll add some pepper, and it should be good.
New Space Race said there's an engineer in the room who could build a heat sink for that phone.
Nice.
Good point, Christian.
Yeah. Quiet, Christian.
Yeah. And Teresa said you measure butter with your heart.
That's right.
You got somebody on your side today.
Nice. Cool.
He does this every time. Like halfway through, it's like he just knows. He's got to come be a pain. Hi. Have to like limit his water because he will chug an entire bowl and then throw it up. So
I put my bacon in the skillet here. We're gonna go ahead and get that cut on like medium high heat. Get that start the cooking. The oil for the chicken is up to 350. So what I'm gonna do is put it on my burner at least. It's kind of like a medium burner, but I'm gonna put on high heat. Because once the chicken goes in, that temperature is gonna fall. So we just want it to try to keep up.
yeah.
It's not going to keep up, but we're gonna try.
Nice.
So.
Sam said active cooling system for the phone cold plate or passive heat sink, either one.
This has got a bunch of space people on this
It's great.
live this time. So.
I love hearing it. I know there's solutions out there for my phone overheating over the stove all the time. So
That's what happens when NASA watches your cooking.
yeah. It's great. I love it.
They're like, guys, it's about the cooking.
Yeah. That's okay. They can solve my problems too. I'm fine with that. I'll trade. I'll teach them how to cook and they can fix my phone. Oh, at the 365?
Yeah, you can see that.
Yep. Sure can.
Cool.
My phone's not overheated yet.
Cool.
Probably will be once that chicken starts frying.
Nah, we'll be all right. Because it's gonna get. All right,
Oh,
Probably
look at that go.
Yeah, I know.
so I've got some pretty large ones and some pretty small ones. So I'm gonna start with just 2 of the big pieces.
Can you turn the vent up a little bit just so we don't start setting the smoke alarms off?
Yeah, I mean we should be okay.
I know.
That's just gonna steam. So
These smoke alarms go off
I know
if
they
you look
will.
at them wrong, so.
So do mine.
Borderline ridiculous. You almost can't even cook.
yeah, I know. Cool. And we're gonna keep an eye on the oil, Tim.
What are you trying to keep it at? The
You
365?
want it to be around 350.
Okay.
If you start getting under 325, it's like,
Bad news bears.
it sucks because then it starts soaking up more oil than frying, and
And then you lose that crisp.
Yeah, you just
So-
wind up with something super saturated in grease. I think we've all probably experienced that before.
Yes.
I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great.
It'll be all right. We're at 325 right now, so
Is that burner on full
What?
blast?
I did. I mean, it's on a smaller burner. I could swap them
I
around,
think
but,
you probably should swap it with the potatoes.
I mean,
That is closer to your phone, though.
It is closer to my phone.
yeah.
The problem is the back 2 burners have a very small burner on them, so like keeping that big pot hot is harder than the front burners.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Since the potatoes are just sitting there doing
It's
nothing.
working great.
They don't need to be there.
We'll keep checking the temp. You don't want it to go really above 350 either. So that's
Oh,
kind of the range.
that's good to know.
325 to 350 while you're frying, for most things. Something like a fried tempura vegetable, like 375.
So that
it's
is
like
hotter.
a little, vegetables tend to, it'll cook way faster, so you can hide
Okay.
heat a little bit.
Yeah, I just have to give a shout out to the fact that all of us decided to wear blue today.
I like it.
Was not planned. Also, the fact that you and I were both thinking the same bottle of champagne.
That is funny.
Out of all the bottles we could have had.
Both thought the same. I love that.
Yeah. Everybody is very much on the same wavelength today. Oh man, that chicken's starting to smell good. I hope there's at least a couple people cooking along tonight.
Yeah, it's a little cold.
You want to switch burners?
What's that? I'm gonna have to. It's just how it goes.
Is that on high heat or on high, on the fan?
What?
Is the fan on high?
No.
I think it needs to be.
Okay.
I'm just smelling it and I'm like, sure there's probably some sort of heat or like smoke coming off of that we're not seeing that's gonna wind up getting the smoke alarms upstairs. We had to tape a bag over the one down here.
Oh, nice. Still remember that one live that Bandit started imitating your smoke alarm as we were watching.
That's really funny. Chickens are looking beautiful though.
Oh, it looks really good. I went ahead and flipped them, just because the bottom's gonna be a little hotter than the top.
Yeah.
How do you know when to flip?
We're gonna just kind of
Color.
golden brownish.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of going with it. We'll temp them to make sure they're done.
Okay.
I won't just guess that. So.
Someone asking if the deep pot prevents enough grease splatter.
If the what?
If the deeper pot helps with grease splatter.
It's helping. It's not like 100%.
But that was kind of your goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It definitely helps.
yeah.
'Cause we're still getting a little splatter out here, but
I mean, we have a screen too. If,
Yeah, you're
if
right.
it's really bad. So I think
There
it's
you go.
pretty helpful for keeping it. If you don't
There you
want your
go.
whole kitchen to be covered in grease.
No. So the bacon, we're just trying to render this out.
You can smell the pepper in the chicken. Wow.
And the smokiness of that bacon and everything just smells so good right now.
And we already know the champagne tastes good.
Yeah. So how do you know when the bacon's at the right point?
It'll just be all golden brown. You'll see a ton of fat in your pan.
But like, how do I know that I didn't need to take it further than that?
You could try a piece.
What do you want it to taste like?
Not super chewy.
I'm looking for a good answer here.
That helps.
Like a real answer.
Does that help? So it's not super chewy.
Okay.
You're like, it's done when it looks right. Stop asking questions.
Trying to help people learn how to develop their skills over here.
So more cooked than chewy, less cooked than tiny burnt pieces.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
But like super crunchy. I mean, if you overcook it slightly, it'll probably,
As long as it's not black, you'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
it'll slightly rehydrate a little bit with the water from the collards probably. Because you're like, you want it to be crunchy enough to like withstand the wetness of
The
like the
collards.
collard greens that
Okay.
are gonna go in there. The pure bacon is still super soggy at the same time, and it like it's gonna be soggy along with your greens, and I mean it'll
And
still
then it
taste
goes
good,
into
but
it,
it's
but
just not the same.
The fat's at
And I don't like
250,
chewy
so I
bacon.
adjusted the heat a little just to keep it from overheating. And yeah. I guess I'll get another. I'm using every dish today. I'm sorry. We're using the
It's
whole
alright,
kitchen.
I'm the one that's gonna wind up doing all the dishes anyway, so.
We're doing the
I
whole
thought that's
kitchen.
why we were invited.
Yeah. No, you guys are just here to hang out and eat and drink champagne. There's nothing else required for that.
We can do dishes too.
No, you're good.
So I'm gonna temp these thighs. They are ready. Well, no, they're not. They're almost ready.
What temp are you looking for?
Like 160 to 170.
Is the temp the same for thighs and breasts, or?
Yeah, for
Okay.
thighs you can go higher, which is better.
Smells
Cool.
really good in here.
Is it?
Yeah. So are you gonna heat any cream or anything for the potatoes, or
Probably not.
you're just gonna pull it straight from the fridge?
Butter, salt, pepper.
How shiny those greens are.
All that good bacon fat.
The champagne will cut right through that perfectly.
Perfect.
Yeah, and realistically, you could do this with the collards if you have turnip greens or something sitting around from the veggies in the spring.
Turnip greens, beet greens,
You
radish
could chop up
greens.
your turnip greens and throw them in, or radishes, or
Makes eating your greens a lot more fun than just having to eat them in a salad or sauteing them.
Yeah. The radish greens with the Israeli meatballs, those were delicious.
the what?
The radish greens that you did with the Israeli meatballs, I'd never cooked radish greens.
That's cook them.
You did the radishes first, and then you threw in the greens at the very end. It was so good.
Yeah, and I had like little spring garlic and onion,
Yes,
right?
that one.
Well, no, it's so nice to like be able to use the whole plant too. Like, I don't think most people realize that they can eat
Yep.
all of it, and it's like cool. Well, you got even more out of your meal than like what you were planning for,
And all the
Right.
nutrients.
and all the nutrients. I think Sam's got a little comment for you here. I think we're
I
team
think
champagne
it
over
will,
here.
yes. They have a bottle of the Red Ribbon Room,
Nice.
so I bet you that's what they're drinking tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I think bubbles, period, just
Yeah.
perfect thing for all of us.
And Christian, who's the new space race, is actually the reason a few years ago I met the head champagne maker from them in Paris.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of incredible.
would not be mad about
So
that.
you've got some champagne people on.
Great, this is our crew today. Oh, that chicken's looking so good. Still not ready?
Almost, these were the biggest two pieces.
What temp are you looking for those?
160 at least. They'll
Let
continue
it
to
carry
cook
over.
after you kill them a little bit, but
Ideally, end temp is like 165.
yeah, or more. 170, 165. And then for the greens, we're really just trying to cook these down a little bit. And these younger collards, like I said, they're more tender and they're a lot less bitter this time of year than what they will be. So, these greens, typically later in the season we do the braising and we put, it's like a lot of chicken stock, a lot
Okay.
of brown sugar,
Oh,
and then some cider vinegar, and it helps.
Break them down.
It kind of just balances the bitterness.
okay.
So,
And then that little dash of hot sauce.
yeah.
That just makes it. That's Southern
Cool.
Collards.
I
So when
can't
turn the
wait
greens
to
off,
learn how
we're
to
gonna
do
do
that.
a pinch of the brown sugar. It doesn't, not a ton, because
Okay.
they're not super bitter. It's a little dried up.
Honestly, surprised Rufus is just sitting over there. Figured he'd be over there begging for a piece of chicken or something. I think he knows. It's not ready yet.
Cool.
It's like it's not at the right temp.
Yeah. Beautiful golden brown. So now you're putting that on another tray. Right, with the wrap on it.
I mean, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
You put it on a paper towel.
Yeah. But there's,
soak up
Oh,
some
that's
grease.
beautiful.
Can you bring that over here and show the camera?
yeah.
That is beautiful.
So it's like, yeah.
Do you have any tips for how to put something into the fryer without burning your fingers? Splattering grease everywhere?
Lightly drop it away from your body.
So you want to like actually submerge it into the grease before you let go of it, right?
You should like gently lay it in there without putting your fingers in there.
I'm not sure how it went off filter, but my phone is sideways a little bit. Can you?
I might have bumped the wire.
Okay. There we go. Thank you.
This is so much easier with a fryer. That like turns itself on and off to hold the temperature and all that
Yeah.
fun stuff.
The luxuries of having a restaurant kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, that and your amazing oven.
Cool.
Yeah. There were a lot of fun toys in there.
Are those cheap little hardware store fryers any good for this sort of thing?
It's not much better than this, but they do self-regulate, so you don't have to have a thermometer. But they still cool off a lot just because of how small they are.
Yeah, I mean, how many gallons of oil did our fryer at the restaurant usually hold?
It was a 40-pound fryer.
Wow.
So 40 pounds of
Oh,
food,
wow.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. We got them in 35-pound boxes. So like a lot.
Yeah.
So it barely changed temperature when you put anything in. Yeah,
You could
wow.
drop stuff in, and they have heat sinks in them that like stay warm to like help. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they're insulated, and they're pretty great.
Sam said, "Holy cow, Patrick, you must be half Southern. That chicken looks amazing."
Full Southern.
I agree. Full Southern.
Full
Yeah. Born and raised. Never left until what, about 7 years ago when we moved out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this, the greens, we do a little cider vinegar, just to
Sam
kind
said,
of,
"Howdy, Mike."
just to give them some brightness. We're gonna do, our brown sugar was kind of rocks, so we're gonna sprinkle in like
How much of each?
like a tablespoon of each, probably.
Chef math. Jenna had a question for you.
Yeah.
She said that, I know you're not cooking them today, but can you talk about what ramps are and how they're different from onions? She's heard of them, but haven't seen them in anything in the South. Is there anything similar?
So ramps typically grow in like the middle, like Virginia and stuff
Okay.
area, typically, and they're wild. And the flavor of them is basically garlic and onion. It's like a spring garlic and like the spring onion we use today. It's like it tastes like a cross of that.
Okay.
And they're amazing grilled, and you could sear them too, like seared and then chopped up.
But we wouldn't find them here in our
You
markets.
can't get them here.
Okay.
But they're like it's essentially a wild onion,
Interesting.
but
They have like a garlic
They're-
sweetness to them.
they're closer to garlic. But
So I happen to have the Wild Ramps Burlap and Barrel jar.
nice.
What would I do with that?
Anything?
Because I'm like, I don't know what ramps
yeah,
are.
anything you put garlic in, they're
Okay.
just fantastic. Because we would grill them, put them with soft shell crabs when soft shell crabs were in season.
That sounds incredible.
Chef Michelle's soft shell crabs with the lemon butter
Oh.
with the ramps in it.
Yeah, it's just
That was my favorite thing on the planet. I could eat
so
20
good.
pounds
I
of
mean,
that.
sauteed ramps with a little caper and lemon, and
All those flavors
with
sound
some crab.
amazing.
It's terrible.
Christian wanted to know if you added the vinegar and sugar while the heat was still on.
Oh, I just cut the greens off to not overcook them,
Okay,
and then I added the vinegar and sugar.
so you did it off the heat.
I did, but they're
Okay.
still hot. And we'll probably need to lightly reheat them
Okay.
right before we plate, but we might not.
Jenna said thanks. I promise to eat more than garlic and onions.
Taste them. Maybe salt.
Always more than you think.
What's that?
Said always more salt than you think.
It's the best thing.
A little more vinegar.
Oh, that was like another quarter cup.
I don't know, it needs more. Another pinch of salt.
Tablespoon.
So like 2 tablespoons
So basically,
of sugar.
repeat everything.
Repeat. Mix them up. Cool. There we go. Perfect.
Nice. Look, he tasted on the board.
You what?
He tasted on the board.
Yeah, I know. Like following him around with this camera is so hard sometimes. Like a wild card. I never know where he's going next. Christian wants to know what your favorite hot sauce is for collard greens.
My favorite, so the classic, like classic is Tabasco.
I
That's
love
the-
Tabasco.
That's like the, you know, And then I prefer like the Cholula.
Okay.
Like if I'm gonna have to like get a brand that's available anywhere. But we're gonna be using, it's called
Green belly.
Green Belly.
Yeah.
They're like, it's the best hot sauce ever, but it's made here.
I
Will
think
you show it
it's
to
like
us?
a Guatemalan
Yeah.
recipe or
So
somewhere in
good.
Central America. I cannot remember off the top of my head. I want to say it is Guatemala, but
Because Christian may need that gift in the future, so.
totally fine. Everybody
Oh,
should
good
have
to
a
know.
jar of this in
Yeah.
their fridge.
Red Belly. Can they see it?
Yeah.
This
Well, there's
stuff.
Red Belly. That one's Red Belly, but I think the company. So
What's
Green
the
Belly
company?
for the
Oh,
whole-
Green Belly Foods.
Yeah.
Yeah. This stuff's so good though.
Where do you get it?
You can get it. They sell it all over here.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at the farmer's market.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and there's probably other places that have it too, but those are the two that I know for sure. So that zigzag of brown that's on there is hot sauce now.
Yeah. Like a tablespoon, I guess.
Move way too fast.
Stir it in.
We're at the point where he just starts cooking and I gotta pay attention.
The wine's kicking in. You know?
Perfect. Do you need a refill yet?
Yeah.
We
Figured
got
I
some
could-
here.
Figured I could wait until we have food. So.
That's what the second bottle's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where when I do the lives a little later, there's a lot of pause, rewind that happens.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, greens are done, 100%. Fried chicken. We'll have enough to at least eat. And I can just plate and we can fry the rest while we're eating out. So I guess I'll try these. I'm sure they're good.
Oh yeah, I forgot there were potatoes too. What's going in after the salt into the potatoes?
Yeah, can you walk me through what you're doing over there?
What's that?
Can you walk me through what you're doing over there?
Salt and pepper.
Are you doing white pepper or black pepper?
Black pepper.
End of the month, Christian, you'll have your bottle.
Have you added anything to this besides salt and pepper yet?
What's that?
Have you added anything to that besides salt and pepper yet?
The butter.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
So why not the fermented white pepper?
Oh, because,
It wasn't a white pepper dish?
no.
He's not trying to be fancy here. He wants the rusticness.
It's something about like every fried chicken or barbecue place you
Yeah.
go, there's always the black pepper specks in the potatoes. you know?
That's true. And I love that you left the skins on. I
Yeah.
love skin on mashed potatoes.
This is the meal for that. All right. Cool. We are good to go.
Picture of Sam and Cindy's collard greens that they're cooking along.
Oh, those look awesome. Yum.
Cool.
Ooh, that hot sauce I'm really liking.
What's that? Is it?
Man, that chicken looks good.
It really does.
We on our last batch here?
Yeah, I'm just gonna drop these 3 in plate.
Okay.
And not forget about them, because that's what I do.
Yeah, same. Especially after a little bit of champagne.
Or your smoke detector will
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah. Honestly,
Christian wants to know what you do with the grease when you're done cooking.
we're gonna let it cool down, and we'll see how trashed or not it is. If it's savable, I'll keep it in like a glass container.
How do you tell whether or not it's trashed?
I mean, off one fry session, it should be fine. I see how much stuff's floating in it. Let's just see what it looks like.
So whether or not there's stuff floating in it tells you whether or not it's trash?
I mean,
That's the question I'm trying to answer here.
I mean, realistically, like if it's smoky, it's done.
If it's smoking,
Yeah.
like while you're cooking?
Yeah. Like once it's warm. If it's smoking, it's definitely done. But like, if you're not gonna fry for a while, or maybe never again, I don't know. You can, once it's cool, you can just put it in the trash. Don't dump it down the drain.
Yeah, oh God, no, never put it down the drain. That is a great way to rack up an expensive plumber bill. What's
And
wrong?
would you save it even though it's now a combo of duck fat and avocado oil, or would you only save it if it were
Oh, it's
just duck fat? It's okay.
Would you ever freeze it, or is it okay in the fridge?
What's that?
Would you ever freeze it to reuse it?
Yeah.
Or?
Good, for sure. The duck fat will freeze solid. If it's straight avocado, probably stay somewhat liquid.
Okay.
Like it just depends on how much saturated fat, I guess, or whatever is in it. Maybe even how refined it is. It's like coconut oil will freeze.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So all you did was potatoes and butter. You didn't put any cream in that at all?
No,
Okay. Is there a reason why?
just classic.
Just classic.
It didn't need it.
Okay.
It's all good. Salt, pepper, and butter. All right. I'm gonna plate this really fast for everybody, and then
This is one of my favorite parts of your lives is how to plate.
the
It's-
plating.
Yeah.
How to make it look fancy if you're cooking at home.
I mean, that's how I impress my friends with all my photographs is because of your how to plate.
Cool. This one's gonna be do a little more rustic, but greens, little tart, little sweet, little spicy.
Wow.
A little punch on there. Then we'll take one of these chickens, just like that.
Beautiful.
And then our buttermilk sauce.
I forgot about that too.
I did too. I'm glad one of us is on it.
And this is just gonna kind of bring it
Oh,
all,
wow.
you it all together here.
That looks great.
So,
I have one more question for you.
yeah.
Did you season the chicken at all after you took it out of the fryer, or was that
So
just
I put the salt in the flour.
it? Okay.
So it was in all 3 layers
Okay.
of
I just
the
want to
coating.
make sure.
So I didn't
Okay.
add more.
Cool.
Just kind of left it as is.
Got it.
But that's the whole deal there. So
Give me one more spin all the way around.
spinny. So yeah,
Beautiful.
great. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this one. It was a lot of fun. If you got any value, as always, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really just helps us get this out in the world to help people cook more food. So that's all. That's what we want to do. Just help people. So yeah, please enjoy it now or at another time, and we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.